The warning lights flashed red across the bridge of the Galactic Council monitoring station. Ambassador Taemin stared at the holographic display showing the Outer Rim territories. Small dots represented human colonies scattered across dozens of worlds. Each dot had grown brighter over the past few months. "They are expanding too fast," growled Commander Kelron of the Vorthan Empire. His scales rippled with anger as he pointed at the display. "These humans think they can take whatever they want." Taemin adjusted his translator device. "The Vorthans always spoke too loudly. The humans have followed all colonization laws. They filed proper claims with the Council. Laws mean nothing when trade routes are threatened." Kelron slammed his clawed fist on the metal table. "My people have used these space lanes for 300 years. Now these soft mammals block our path with their farming worlds." In the corner of the room, So Young looked up from her data pad. She had spent 5 years studying human behavior and culture. Something about this conversation worried her. The humans were not like other species the Vorthans had bullied before. "Commander Kelron," So Young said carefully, "I suggest caution. The humans are different from other species we have encountered." The Vorthan commander laughed. It sounded like rocks grinding together. "Different? They are farmers and builders. They grow crops and construct simple buildings. What threat could they possibly be?" So Young pulled up files on her device. "My research shows humans have a unique response to attacks on their civilians. They do not surrender easily. All species protect their young." Kelron waved a dismissive claw. "But when faced with superior firepower, they all submit. This is the natural order." Taemin studied the human colony reports. The settlements looked peaceful enough. New Busan was typical of human colonies. Farming communities, small towns, families raising children under foreign stars. Nothing that looked military or threatening. "Perhaps a diplomatic approach would be better," Taemin suggested. "We could negotiate new trade routes that work for everyone." Kelron's eyes narrowed to yellow slits. "The Vorthan Empire does not negotiate with lesser species. We inform them of their place in the galaxy." 3 days later, the Vorthan warfleet assembled at the edge of human space. 12 massive battleships hung in the darkness like metal mountains. Their weapons could destroy entire cities from orbit. Admiral Thexwar commanded the fleet from his flagship Dominator. Like all Vorthans, he believed in showing strength first. Diplomacy was for the weak. "Target the colony called New Busan," Thexwar ordered. "Make it quick and clean. The other humans will get the message." The fleet moved toward the human world like predators stalking prey. New Busan appeared on their screens as a blue and green planet. Scanners showed peaceful settlements scattered across the main continent. On New Busan, Colony Administrator Hyunwoo was reviewing crop reports when the attack began. The first sign was a flash of light in the sky. Then the communication building exploded. "Everyone to the shelters," Hyunwoo shouted into his emergency radio, but it was too late. The Vorthan ships fired from high orbit. Energy beams cut through the atmosphere like lightning. Buildings vanished in balls of fire. Streets turned to glass under the intense heat. Families ran for cover, but there was nowhere to hide. The orbital bombardment was precise and merciless. Schools, hospitals, homes, all targeted and destroyed within minutes. Young engineer Min-soo managed to reach the emergency communication center. His hands shook as he activated the distress beacon. The message was simple but desperate. "This is New Busan Colony. We are under attack. Vorthan ships are bombing civilian targets. They are killing families. Please help us." The signal shot into space just before another energy beam destroyed the transmitter. Min-soo never made it out of the building. From orbit, Admiral Thexwar watched the destruction with satisfaction. The human settlements burned like candles in the wind. No return fire came from the surface. No military ships rose to challenge them. "Weak creatures," he muttered. They did not even try to fight back. Within 2 hours, the major population centers of New Busan were smoking ruins. The Vorthan fleet prepared to leave. Their demonstration was complete. "Send a message to other human colonies," Thexwar commanded. "Tell them this is what happens when they block Vorthan trade routes. Move their settlements or face the same fate." The warfleet jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind a world of ash and silence. The Vorthans were pleased with their work. They had taught the humans a valuable lesson about galactic power. But in the ruins of New Busan, something survived that would change everything. Hidden in underground storage, automatic systems continued working. They recorded everything. Every ship that attacked, every weapon signature, every tactical pattern the Vorthans used. the data uploaded to backup communication satellites that the aliens had missed. The information traveled through space toward Earth and other human worlds. Technical specifications, battle recordings, and casualty reports. Most important was the final message from Administrator Hyun Woo. He had managed to reach a shelter before the end. With his dying breath, he spoke into a recording device. They came without warning. They targeted civilians first. Children, families, everyone. This was not war. This was murder. Someone must answer for this. The message reached Earth 12 hours later. In the Capitol Defense Center, Admiral Ji-hoon received the transmission. He had been expecting routine colony reports. Instead, he found himself staring at images of destruction that made his blood freeze. How many survivors? He asked quietly. Communications Officer Sung-ho checked the reports. Less than 300 out of 40,000 colonists, sir. Most are badly injured. Admiral Ji-hoon had served in the military for 30 years. He had seen conflicts with pirates and raiders. But nothing like this. The Vorthons had not tried to conquer New Busan. They had simply erased it. Contact the President immediately, Ji-hoon ordered, and activate Protocol 7. Sung-ho looked confused. Sir, Protocol 7 has never been used. It has never been needed before. Admiral Ji-hoon studied the tactical data from New Busan. The Vorthons had made their attack assuming humans would be easy targets. They were about to learn how wrong they were across human space. Hidden systems began activating. Deep space sensors turned toward Vorthon territory. Military bases that appeared to be simple supply stations revealed their true purpose. Ships that looked like cargo vessels powered up weapons that no alien species knew existed. The Vorthon Empire had just made the worst mistake in galactic history. They had started a war with humanity, and humans never forgot those who killed their families. The emergency alarm echoed through the halls of Earth's Capitol Defense Center. Admiral Ji-hoon walked quickly toward the main command room. His boots clicked against the metal floor with each urgent step. President Yoon-ji was already waiting when he arrived. Her face was pale, but her eyes burned with controlled anger. Around the room, military officers and government officials gathered at their stations. Show me everything, the president said without greeting. Admiral Ji-hoon activated the main display. Images from New Busan filled the giant screen. Burning cities, destroyed homes, and scattered bodies painted a picture of complete devastation. 40,000 people, Ji-hoon said quietly. Families, children, farmers. All dead because the Vorthons wanted to send a message. Defense Minister Kyung-soo studied the tactical data. Their attack pattern shows they targeted civilian areas first. Schools, hospitals, residential zones. This was not military action. It was genocide. President Yoon-ji closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them again, her expression had changed. The politician was gone. In her place stood something harder and more dangerous. Activate the hidden protocols, she ordered. The room fell silent. Everyone knew what those words meant. For 50 years, humanity had been preparing for this day. While other species focused on trade and diplomacy, humans had been building something else entirely. Dr. Subin stepped forward from the research section. Her hands trembled slightly as she spoke. Project Thunderstrike is ready for deployment. All systems have been tested and prepared. How many ships? Admiral Ji-hoon asked. 800 combat vessels of various classes, plus support ships, supply lines, and mobile bases. The entire hidden fleet has been waiting for authorization. President Yoon-ji looked around the room at her advisors. They killed our people without warning. They targeted civilians deliberately. What does international law say about our response options? Legal advisor Han Wool cleared his throat. Under the Colonial Protection Act and the Geneva Conventions extended, we have full justification for military retaliation. The attack on New Busan constitutes a crime against humanity. And what does our military doctrine recommend? The president asked Admiral Ji-hoon. The admiral pulled up another display. Red dots marked Vorthon military bases throughout their empire. Blue lines showed their supply routes and communication networks. Complete strategic destruction of their ability to wage war, Ji-hoon said calmly. We eliminate their fleet, destroy their military infrastructure, and ensure they can never threaten human civilians again. Intelligence Director Hae-won activated her workstation. I have been monitoring Vorthon communications since the attack. They believe this incident is over. They expect us to either surrender or file a complaint with the Galactic Council. Do they know about our military capabilities? President Yoon-ji asked. Hae-won smiled coldly. They think we are farmers with cargo ships. Our intelligence operations have been so effective that they have no idea what we really are. Across human space, the awakening began. On Luna Station, Fleet Admiral Dong Hyun received his orders through encrypted channels. The massive space facility that appeared to be a mining operation revealed its true purpose: hidden bays open to release warships that had been concealed for decades. Captain Minho commanded the destroyer Seoul's Fury. His ship looked like a simple transport vessel from the outside. But beneath its plain exterior lay weapons and engines that surpassed anything in the known galaxy. Stations report ready, his communications officer announced. Minho studied the tactical display showing his target zone. 3 Vorthon patrol fleets moved through space, unaware that death was approaching them. Set course for the Kepler system, he ordered. Maximum stealth. We have some aliens to educate. Meanwhile, on the research station orbiting Mars, engineer Youngsik made final preparations to his special projects. For years, he had been developing weapons based on captured alien technology. Now those designs would be tested in actual combat. The particle disruptors are ready, he reported to his supervisor, and the new shield generators exceed all specifications. What about the cyber warfare packages? Youngsik grinned. The Vorthons use completely networked systems for everything. One virus uploaded to their fleet computers and their entire military structure will collapse. Back on Earth, President Yoon-ji addressed the Joint Chiefs of Staff in a secure meeting room. The faces around the table belonged to the most dangerous military minds humanity had ever produced. The Vorthons believe they attacked weak farmers, she began. They have no idea they just declared war on the most militarily advanced species in the galaxy. General Sora, commander of ground forces, reviewed her deployment orders. Our marine units are ready for planetary assault operations. Every trooper has trained for combat against multiple alien species. Admiral Tae-ho of the Stealth Fleet nodded in agreement. My submarines can infiltrate any star system undetected. The Vorthons will never see us coming. What about the other alien species? Asked Intelligence Director Hae-won. Some may try to support the Vorthons. President Yoon-ji considered this question carefully. Our diplomatic corps will monitor all alien reactions. Ambassador So-young will represent us at the Galactic Council. But make no mistake, our primary focus is the complete destruction of Vorthon military power. The activation codes went out that night. Hidden bases throughout human space came online. Ships that had pretended to be civilian transports revealed their true nature as advanced warships. Space stations that looked like simple trade posts activated weapons powerful enough to destroy entire fleets. On the rim world of New Geneva, Commander Jae-sung received orders to begin reconnaissance missions into Vorthon space. His stealth ships would map enemy positions and identify high-value targets. The sleeping giant of humanity was waking up, and its dreams were filled with vengeance. In the outer colonies, human settlers who had seemed like peaceful farmers revealed military training that surprised even their alien neighbors. Emergency militias formed overnight, equipped with weapons that no one knew existed. Dr. Subin established her command center in a bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains. From here, she would coordinate the technological aspects of humanity's war effort. Begin Phase 1 deployment, she ordered her staff. I want every human ship equipped with our latest modifications. Within 72 hours, the Vorthon Empire had no idea what was coming for them. Admiral Thexwar was still celebrating his easy victory over New Busan when the first reports arrived. Human ships had been detected moving through space toward Vorthon territory. But these were not the simple cargo vessels his intelligence had reported. What do you mean they have weapons? He demanded of his communications officer. Sir, our long-range sensors detect energy signatures unlike anything in our databases. These ships are built for war. Admiral Thexwar studied the reports with growing concern. Perhaps the humans were more dangerous than he had thought. He was about to find out just how dangerous they really were. Commander Jae-sung floated in the darkness of space, watching the Vorthon supply convoy through his ship's sensors. 3 massive cargo vessels moved slowly between the stars, protected by only 2 escort fighters. The aliens had no idea they were being hunted. Target analysis complete, reported his tactical officer Sung Woo. The lead ship carries weapons and ammunition. The second has food supplies. The third transports replacement parts for their fleet. Jae-sung smiled grimly. This convoy supplied an entire Vorthon battle group. Without these supplies, enemy ships would be stranded and helpless. "Prepare the shadow missiles," he ordered. "I want clean kills." No survivors to report our presence. The human stealth ship Ghost of Soul drifted closer to its prey. Unlike the large, obvious vessels the Vorthons preferred, Jae-sung's ship was built for invisibility and speed. The missiles launched silently through space. Each one was painted black and equipped with sensors that could track targets across vast distances. The Vorthons never saw them coming. The first cargo ship exploded in a ball of fire. The second tried to turn away, but another missile caught it amidships. The third ship managed to send out a brief distress signal before it too was destroyed. The Vorthon escort fighters spun around, looking for their attacker. But the Ghost of Soul had already vanished back into the darkness of space. Across Vorthon territory, similar attacks were happening everywhere. Captain Byung-ho commanded a small fleet of human raiders that struck like lightning at enemy positions. His ships would appear from hyperspace, destroy their targets, and disappear before reinforcements could arrive. "Another supply base eliminated," he reported to Fleet Command. "The Vorthons are starting to panic. Their logistics network is falling apart." On Earth, Admiral Ji-hoon studied the tactical reports with satisfaction. Phase 1 of the human response was working perfectly. "How many enemy ships have we destroyed?" he asked his staff. Operations Director Chang Wook consulted his data pad. 43 cargo vessels, 12 escort fighters, and 6 patrol ships. "We have suffered 0 casualties." "And what is the enemy response?" "Confusion and fear," Intelligence Director Haewon answered. "Their communications show they have no idea who is attacking them or how. They suspect pirates or raiders." Admiral Ji-hoon nodded approvingly. "Good, keep them guessing. The longer they stay confused, the more damage we can inflict." Engineer Young-sik had been busy preparing special surprises for the Vorthon fleet. His cyber warfare division had developed viruses specifically designed to target alien computer systems. "The infiltration programs are ready," he reported. "Once we upload them to enemy networks, their ships will turn against each other." Meanwhile, Lieutenant Sung-min piloted one of the new human fighter craft on a reconnaissance mission deep in Vorthon space. His ship used technology that combined human intuition with artificial intelligence. The enemy fighters he encountered flew in predictable formations, following programmed patterns that made them easy targets. Sung-min's ship moved like a living creature, anticipating and countering every enemy move. "Vorthon squadron destroyed," he reported after the brief battle. "These aliens fight like computers. No creativity or adaptation." The psychological impact of the human attacks was growing stronger each day. General Thexwar called an emergency meeting of his senior officers. The reports from across Vorthon space painted a disturbing picture. "We have lost contact with 17 supply convoys," his logistics chief reported nervously. "Our outer rim bases are requesting immediate reinforcement." "What kind of enemy are we facing?" Thexwar demanded. Intelligence Officer Crixton shuffled through his data files. "Unknown, sir. The attack patterns suggest multiple small groups using advanced stealth technology. They strike without warning and leave no survivors. Could it be the humans seeking revenge for their colony?" "Impossible, sir. Our intelligence indicates they are simple farmers with primitive spacecraft." General Thexwar was not so sure anymore. The attacks were too coordinated and too effective to be random pirate raids. On the diplomatic front, Ambassador So-young attended an emergency session of the Galactic Council. The other alien representatives were discussing increased piracy in Vorthon space. "These attacks on legitimate commerce must be stopped," declared the hegemony representative. "The trade routes are becoming unsafe for all species." So-young listened carefully, gathering intelligence about which alien powers might support the Vorthons in a larger conflict. So far, most species seemed content to let the situation develop. "Has anyone claimed responsibility for these attacks?" asked the Korthak delegate. "No one," replied the council moderator. "The attackers strike silently and leave no identification." So-young remained quiet during the session, but she was sending detailed reports back to Earth about alien reactions and capabilities. The human war machine continued to grow stronger. Captain Minho received orders to expand operations against Vorthon military installations. His destroyer Soul's Fury had been joined by 5 other warships, forming a small but deadly task force. "Target confirmed," reported his sensor officer In Young. "Vorthon communication relay station lightly defended." All ships attack formation, Minho ordered. Destroy everything but leave the central computer core intact. The human ships appeared from hyperspace in perfect coordination. Their weapons were more advanced than anything the Vorthons had seen. The relay station was reduced to debris within minutes. Engineer Chang Wu boarded the wreckage to retrieve the computer core. Inside, he found detailed information about Vorthon fleet movements and strategic plans. Excellent work, Admiral Ji-hoon said when he reviewed the intelligence data. Now we know exactly where to hit them next. Dr. Subin unveiled her latest creation at a secret military briefing. The new weapon system could disable entire enemy fleets without destroying them. The neural disruptor affects alien brain chemistry, she explained. It renders them unconscious but causes no permanent harm. We can capture their ships intact. President Yoonji approved the deployment of these new weapons. We are not like the Vorthons. We do not target civilians or commit genocide, but their military forces are legitimate targets. The tide of war was turning rapidly in humanity's favor. Vorthon Admiral Krix War watched his empire's defenses crumble day by day. Supply lines were cut, communication networks were failing, and his ships were disappearing one by one. Sir, we must contact the humans for peace negotiations, his advisor suggested desperately. Never, Krix War snarled. We are the dominant military power in this sector. We do not negotiate with inferior species. But deep in his heart, the Vorthon commander was beginning to fear that he had seriously underestimated these mysterious attackers. The hunt had only just begun, and already the predators were becoming the prey. Human ships moved through space like ghosts, striking where they were least expected and vanishing before retaliation was possible. Each successful attack made the next one easier as enemy morale collapsed. The galaxy was about to learn why humans had become known as the most dangerous beings alive. The moment had arrived for humanity to reveal its true power. Admiral Ji-hoon stood on the bridge of his flagship Incheon Rising, watching hundreds of human warships emerge from hyperspace. This was the hidden fleet in all its terrifying glory. All units report ready, Communications Officer Sung-ho announced. Operation Crimson Dawn is authorized to begin. For weeks, human raiders had been striking at Vorthon supply lines and outposts. Now it was time for the main assault. The aliens were about to face the full military might of an awakened humanity. Begin Phase 2, Admiral Ji-hoon commanded. Across the Vorthon Empire, human battle groups appeared simultaneously. The coordination was perfect, the timing flawless. This was not random piracy. This was professional military warfare at its most advanced level. Captain Byung-ho led the assault on Kelthera Prime, the heavily fortified Vorthon fortress world. His task force of 30 ships faced orbital defense platforms and a garrison fleet of over 100 vessels. Enemy forces detected, reported his tactical officer Woo Jin. They are moving to intercept us. Let them come, Byung-ho replied calmly. Time to show these aliens how humans really fight. The Vorthon fleet charged forward in their traditional formation, large ships in front with smaller vessels providing support. It was exactly what human war planners had expected. Deploy the swarm, Byung-ho ordered. From the human ships came clouds of small fighter craft. But these were not ordinary fighters. Each one was controlled by a human pilot working with artificial intelligence, creating a combat effectiveness that purely logical alien systems could not match. Lieutenant Seung-min was among the first to engage the enemy. His fighter moved through space like a living creature, rolling and diving in patterns that confused Vorthon targeting systems. The alien fighters flew in predictable formations, following programs that made them easy prey for human pilots who combined instinct with technology. Vorthon squadron eliminated, Seung-min reported, after destroying 6 enemy craft without taking damage. These aliens need to learn some new tricks. The space battle around Kelthera Prime became a demonstration of human tactical superiority. While Vorthon ships blasted away with massive weapons, human vessels used speed and coordination to outmaneuver their opponents. Engineer Young-sik deployed his cyber warfare weapons from a safe distance. Invisible signals penetrated Vorthon computer networks, carrying viruses designed to turn their own systems against them. Enemy fleet command ship compromised, he reported with satisfaction. Their navigation systems are now under our control. The largest Vorthon battleship suddenly turned its guns on its own escorts. Confusion spread through the alien fleet as ships began firing on each other. Meanwhile, Specialist Yuna led ground forces in the liberation of human prisoners from Vorthon camps on the planet's surface. What they found there made even hardened soldiers sick with anger. "The aliens have been experimenting on our people," Yuna reported grimly. "Medical torture, biological testing, psychological manipulation. War crimes on a massive scale." The discovery fueled human determination to completely destroy Vorthon military power. These aliens had shown their true nature, and humanity would never forget. High above the planet, the space battle reached its climax. Admiral Krixwar watched in horror as his third fleet was systematically destroyed by forces he could barely comprehend. The human ships moved with precision and purpose that defied everything he knew about warfare. "How are they doing this?" he demanded of his tactical officer. "Unknown, sir. Their coordination is perfect. They anticipate our every move and counter it before we can react." A human destroyer appeared directly in front of Krixwar's flagship. For a moment, the two ships faced each other across the emptiness of space. "Surrender immediately," came a transmission in perfect Vorthon language. "Your fleet is defeated. Further resistance is pointless." Krixwar's pride would not allow surrender to inferior beings. "All ships ramming speed. We will show these mammals the price of challenging the Vorthon Empire." His flagship accelerated toward the human destroyer, intending to destroy both ships in a collision. But the human captain had anticipated this desperate move. The destroyer sidestepped at the last moment, then fired a single precise shot that crippled the Vorthon engines. Krixwar's ship drifted helplessly as human marines prepared to board. "Welcome to human justice," the boarding party leader said as Vorthon officers were taken prisoner. The victory at Kelthera Prime was complete. An entire Vorthon fleet had been destroyed or captured with minimal human losses. But this was only one of dozens of simultaneous battles happening across enemy space. Fleet Admiral Dong Hyun coordinated operations from his mobile command base. Real-time reports flowed in from battle groups throughout Vorthon territory. "Sector 7 secured," reported Captain Tejo. "Enemy naval base destroyed. Surviving ships captured." "Sector 12 operational," added Commander Jae Sung. "Supply depot eliminated. Prisoners taken." One by one, the foundations of Vorthon military power crumbled under the human assault. This was not random destruction. This was surgical removal of the enemy's ability to wage war. Dr. Subin monitored the technological aspects of the campaign from her command bunker. Human ships were not only winning battles, they were learning from each engagement. "Our adaptive systems are working perfectly," she reported to President Yoon-ji. "Every battle makes our forces more effective against alien tactics." The president watched the strategic display with grim satisfaction. "How long until the Vorthon Empire is completely neutralized?" "At current progress, less than 2 weeks," Admiral Ji-hoon replied. "They simply cannot match our operational tempo or tactical flexibility." News of human military success spread quickly through the galaxy. Other alien species watched with growing amazement as the peaceful farmers revealed themselves to be the most effective military force anyone had ever seen. The Hegemony Alliance called an emergency council session to discuss the implications. "These humans are not what we thought," the Hegemony commander admitted. "Their military capabilities exceed our most advanced projections." Ambassador So Young attended the session as an observer, gathering intelligence about potential future threats or allies. "The Vorthon Empire has been the dominant military power for centuries," the Korthak representative noted. "If the humans can defeat them so easily, what does that mean for the rest of us?" So Young remained diplomatically neutral during the discussions, but she was sending detailed reports back to Earth about alien reactions and concerns. Back in Vorthon space, the systematic destruction of enemy forces continued. Supreme Commander Kael Ron, the architect of the new Busan attack, found himself trapped on his command station as human ships surrounded the facility. "Sir, we have no choice but to surrender," his aide pleaded. "Continuing to fight will only result in more casualties." Kaelron stared at the tactical display showing the complete collapse of his empire's defenses. In less than a month, the mighty Vorthon military had been reduced to scattered remnants hiding in remote systems. "How is this possible?" he whispered. "They were supposed to be weak farmers." The answer came in the form of a transmission from Admiral Ji-hoon himself. "Supreme Commander Kyle Ron, this is Admiral Ji-hoon of the Human Defense Force. You are responsible for the Murder of 40,000 innocent. Civilians on New Busan. Surrender immediately and you will be treated according to the laws of war. Continue to resist and your forces will be destroyed. For the first time in his life, Kael'ron felt true fear. These humans were not the primitive farmers he had expected. They were something far more dangerous. The galaxy was learning a new lesson about humanity. When pushed to war, humans became something that no alien species had ever encountered before. They became the storm that destroyed all who threatened their people. The news spread through the galaxy like wildfire. The mighty Vorthan Empire, masters of space warfare for 3 centuries, had been crushed in less than 3 weeks by a species most aliens considered primitive farmers. In the crystal halls of the Hegemony Alliance, Supreme Chancellor Vex Prime called an emergency meeting of all member worlds. The strategic situation has changed dramatically, he announced to the gathered representatives. We must reassess our relationship with the human species immediately. Admiral Zenthrock of the Korthak Empire studied the battle reports with professional interest. Their tactical coordination exceeds anything we have observed. How did they develop such military capabilities without our intelligence networks detecting them? Ambassador So Young sat quietly in the observer section, taking careful notes of alien reactions. Every worried glance and nervous whisper was valuable intelligence for Earth's diplomatic corps. Perhaps we should consider offering alliance to the humans, suggested the representative from the crystalline worlds. If they can defeat the Vorthan so easily, we do not want them as enemies. On Earth, President Unji reviewed the galactic response with her advisory council. The victory over the Vorthans was complete, but it had created new challenges. Half the galaxy fears us now, reported Intelligence Director Haiwan. The other half wants to ally with us for protection. And what about potential threats? Asked the President. Admiral Ji-hoon activated the strategic display. 3 major powers are building up their military forces in response to our success. The Hegemony, the Korthak Empire, and the Outer Rim Confederacy. Science Officer Chang Wook had been studying captured Vorthan technology with remarkable results. Human adaptability was proving to be a decisive advantage in technological development. We have reverse-engineered their entire fleet, he reported proudly. Not only can we now build ships using their technology, we have improved their designs by 40%. Dr. Subin nodded in agreement. Human innovation combined with alien science is producing results that surprise even me. We are advancing decades ahead of our original projections. This rapid technological progress was another shock for the galactic community. Most species required centuries to develop new military systems. Humans were doing it in weeks. Political strategist In Young worked with the diplomatic corps to manage humanity's new position in galactic politics. We need to appear strong but not aggressive, she advised President Yoonji. Other species must understand we are defenders, not conquerors. The challenge was managing multiple alien powers that were all reacting differently to human military dominance. Fleet Admiral Dong-hyun continued operations against remaining Vorthan forces while preparing for possible conflicts with other species. The siege of their homeworld is proceeding according to plan, he reported. Supreme Commander Kael'ron is requesting terms for surrender. What are our conditions? President Yoonji asked. Admiral Ji-hoon consulted his strategy papers. Complete demilitarization, war crimes trials for those responsible for New Busan, and reparations to human colonists. The siege of Vorthan Prime demonstrated human patience and strategic thinking. Rather than destroy the planet, human forces established an orbital blockade that slowly strangled the enemy's ability to wage war. Commander Taeho managed the blockade with precision that impressed even alien observers. No ships entered or left Vorthan space without human permission. Supply levels are critical, reported the Vorthan planetary governor. Our people are beginning to suffer from shortages. Then perhaps you should convince your leaders to accept our terms, Commander Taeho replied coldly. The psychological pressure was enormous. The Vorthans could see human ships patrolling their system, but no shots were being fired. The message was clear: surrender or slowly starve. Meanwhile, other alien powers were learning more about human capabilities through intelligence gathering. The Korthak Empire sent spy ships to monitor human military bases. What they discovered shocked their leadership. The humans have more ships than we initially calculated, reported Intelligence Chief Morgex. Their hidden fleet numbers over 2,000 vessels of various classes. That is impossible, protested Fleet Commander Quintar. No species can build such a large military force without detection. The evidence is undeniable. They have been preparing for large-scale warfare for decades while maintaining the appearance of peaceful colonists. This revelation forced alien governments to completely recalculate their military planning. Humanity was not just strong, it was strategically patient and deceptive. The Hegemony Alliance tried a different approach, sending trade delegations to human colonies. We wish to establish commercial relationships, their representative told Colony Administrator Park Shin on New Seoul. Park Shin was polite, but firm. All trade agreements must be approved through Earth's diplomatic corps. We do not make separate deals. This unified response demonstrated another human strength. Unlike alien empires where individual worlds often competed with each other, human colonies worked together as a single coordinated system. Back in the ruins of New Busan, reconstruction efforts were beginning under the supervision of engineer Min-Soo's replacement. Yoon-sik, we will rebuild stronger than before, he told the survivors, and we will never forget what happened here. The rebuilt colony would serve as both memorial and warning. Aliens would see that humans took care of their own and never forgave those who targeted civilians. As weeks passed, the galactic response to human military power became more organized. Some species chose to seek alliance with humanity. Others began military buildup to counter the perceived threat. A few attempted to remain neutral and hoped they would be ignored. President Yoon-ji called a meeting of her military and diplomatic advisors to discuss long-term strategy. We have achieved our primary objective, she stated. The Vorthon Empire is neutralized, but we have also revealed our true capabilities to the entire galaxy. Was this a mistake? Asked Foreign Minister Sung-min. Admiral Ji-hoon shook his head. No. Other species now understand the consequences of attacking human civilians. This may prevent future conflicts. Intelligence Director Hae-won presented her latest analysis. Several alien powers are attempting to form coalitions against us. We may face multiple enemies simultaneously. Let them try, replied General Sora confidently. Our military capabilities continue to grow stronger each day. The transformation of humanity from peaceful colonists to galactic military power was remarkable even to humans themselves. Captain Min-ho, now promoted to Admiral, received orders for humanity's next phase of expansion. Establish forward bases in the former Vorthon territory. His orders read, protect allied worlds and monitor potential threats. This expansion was different from traditional conquest. Human bases were designed to defend entire regions against aggression, not to exploit local resources. Dr. Subin unveiled plans for the next generation of human military technology. Adaptive defense systems, automated manufacturing ships, and self-repairing battle stations. She explained to the research committee, we will be ready for whatever the galaxy sends against us. The speed of human technological advancement was becoming a source of fear among alien species. What had taken them centuries to develop, humans were achieving in months. As the siege of Vorthon Prime entered its final phase, Supreme Commander Kael'ron finally accepted reality. I request immediate negotiations with human representatives, he transmitted to the blockade. Fleet. Commander Taeho received the message with satisfaction. About time. Schedule a meeting aboard the neutral station. The formal surrender would mark the end of the Vorthon Empire as a military threat, but it would also signal the beginning of humanity's role as a major galactic power. The galaxy watched nervously as humans consolidated their victory and prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead. One thing was certain. The age of human military dominance had begun, and no alien species would ever again make the mistake of underestimating these dangerous beings from Earth. 6 months had passed since the attack on New Busan changed everything. The galaxy looked very different now. Where once the Vorthon Empire had dominated entire sectors with fear and military might, human defense stations now protected peaceful trade routes and colonial worlds. Admiral Ji-hoon stood on the observation deck of humanity's newest achievement, the massive space station called Guardian Prime. Through the transparent walls, he could see ships from dozens of different species coming and going in perfect safety. The monthly trade reports. Sir? His aide, Corporal Kyung-ho, presented him with a datapad. Commerce was flowing through human-protected space at record levels. Species that had been afraid to travel during Vorthon rule now moved freely between worlds. General Sora supervised the establishment of human military bases throughout the former enemy territory. Unlike the Vorthans, who had built fortresses to intimidate local populations, human installations were designed to protect entire systems. Base 7 is operational, she reported to Earth Command. We can now provide defense coverage for 12 allied worlds in this sector. The transformation was remarkable. Human military bases included hospitals, schools, and technical training centers. Local alien populations were invited to participate in defensive operations as equals, not servants. On the rebuilt world of New Busan, a ceremony was taking place that would have seemed impossible a year. Earlier, colony administrator Li Jin welcomed a delegation of young Vorthans who had come to study human agricultural techniques. We want to learn how to grow food instead of making war, their leader, Keth Young explained through a translator device. The irony was not lost on the survivors of the original attack. The same species that had once tried to destroy them was now seeking to learn peaceful ways of life. In the Great Assembly Hall of the reformed Galactic Council, Ambassador Tae-min addressed representatives from across the known galaxy. The age of military aggression against civilian populations is over, he declared firmly. The human defense doctrine is now in effect throughout this sector. The new doctrine was simple but revolutionary. Any attack on civilian targets would result in the complete military neutralization of the aggressor. Human forces would respond with overwhelming force to protect all species, not just humans. Who gave humanity the right to police the galaxy? Demanded the representative from the Outer Rim Confederacy. Ambassador Taemin's response was calm but unmistakable. We gave ourselves that right when we became strong enough to protect the innocent. If you prefer the old system where the strong prey upon the weak, you are welcome to test our resolve. The challenge went unanswered. Every alien leader in the room had seen what happened to the Vorthon. Empire President Yoonji reviewed the galactic situation from her office on Earth. The transformation had been successful. Beyond their wildest hopes, piracy is down 90% in human-protected space, reported. Security Chief Wu Jin, colonial expansion by all species has increased dramatically. What about potential military threats? Intelligence Director Haewon consulted her latest analysis. The Korthak Empire and Hegemony Alliance have both requested non-aggression pacts. The Outer Rim Confederacy is still building up forces, but they lack the coordination to pose a serious threat. Dr. Subin had been busy with humanity's next phase of technological development. Her research teams had made breakthrough discoveries that would reshape galactic civilization. The terraforming technology is ready for deployment, she announced at the Science Council meeting. We can transform dead worlds into garden planets in less than 5 years. This capability represented more than just technological advancement. It meant humanity could create new homes for displaced populations and refugee species throughout the galaxy. Engineer Chang Wook demonstrated the new defensive systems that would protect human worlds from any conceivable attack. Planetary shield generators powered by stellar energy, he explained to impressed military officers. No weapon in the known galaxy can penetrate these defenses. But the most remarkable development was happening in the former Vorthon space. Supreme Commander Kael Ron, now a prisoner awaiting trial for war crimes, had been replaced by a new Vorthon government that sought peaceful cooperation with other species. We wish to make amends for the crimes of our former leaders, declared the new Vorthon Prime Minister Yex Mina. Our people want to learn better ways of living. The war crimes trials were conducted with fairness that surprised many observers. Human justice was swift but not vengeful. Those responsible for the New Busan massacre faced punishment. But ordinary Vorthon citizens were offered opportunities for education and rehabilitation. Captain Minho, now Admiral Minho, received his most important assignment yet. He would command humanity's first deep space exploration fleet. Your mission is to explore beyond the galactic rim, President Yoonji told him personally. We need to know what other threats might exist out there. The exploration mission represented humanity's confidence in its new position. Only a species certain of its ability to defend itself would send ships into the unknown darkness. Beyond mapped space, Fleet Admiral Dong Hyun established the human Defense Academy on the Moon orbiting New Geneva. Young people from dozens of species came to study military science and peaceful conflict resolution. We are not teaching conquest, he explained to the first class of cadets. We are teaching protection. There is an important difference. The Academy's motto became famous throughout the galaxy. Strength serves peace. Not war. Ambassador So Young returned from a diplomatic mission to the crystalline worlds with encouraging news. They want to establish a formal alliance, she reported to the Foreign Ministry. In exchange for human protection, they will share their advanced sensor technology. Such alliances were becoming common. Species that had once feared each other were now working together under human protection. The economic impact of human military dominance was transforming galactic civilization, trade. Administrator Park Shin managed commerce flows through human space. From his office on Luna Station, cargo volumes have increased 400% since we established the protection protocols, he reported proudly. Species that have been enemies for centuries are now trading partners. The psychological effect was equally important. For the first time in galactic history, smaller species did not live in constant fear of being conquered or exploited by larger empires. On the research station orbiting Mars, Dr. Young-sik worked on projects that would have seemed impossible just months earlier, faster-than-light communication networks, automated defense platforms, and self-repairing infrastructure. He listed his current projects. We are building a foundation for lasting galactic peace. The transformation was not without challenges. Some species resented human dominance and formed resistance movements. Others worried that humanity might eventually become as oppressive as the Vorthons had been. Political strategist In Young addressed these concerns at a galactic conference on interspecies relations. We understand your worries, she told the assembled delegates. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That is why we have established oversight committees and accountability measures. The human government had created systems to prevent the abuse of their military might. Independent observers from neutral species monitored human activities and could report any violations of the defense doctrine. General Taeho commanded the peacekeeping forces that maintained order in disputed territories. Our job is to stop conflicts before they start, he explained to his officers. We patrol, we mediate, and we protect. We do not conquer. The success of this approach was evident in the peaceful resolution of dozens of territorial disputes that would have become wars under the old system. Commander Jae-sung had transitioned from raider to explorer, leading survey missions to catalog planets suitable for colonization. We have identified 47 worlds perfect for various species requirements, he reported to the Colonial Planning Committee. Enough space for everyone to expand peacefully. The abundance of available worlds reduced competition and conflict between species seeking new homes. As the first anniversary of the new Busan attack approached, President Yoon-ji prepared for the memorial ceremony that would be broadcast throughout human space. We remember the 40,000 who died, she said in her speech, but we also celebrate what their sacrifice achieved. A galaxy where no species needs to fear extinction at the hands of aggressors. The memorial included representatives from every major alien government. Former enemies stood together to honor human civilians who had died in an unprovoked attack. The ceremony concluded with the dedication of the new Busan Memorial, a space station that served as both monument and early warning system for any future threats. Admiral Ji-hoon delivered the final address of the ceremony. The Vorthons thought they were teaching us our place in the galaxy, he said solemnly. Instead, they taught the galaxy that there are consequences for those who target the innocent. As the memorial ceremony ended, routine reports flowed in from across human space. Trade routes secure. Colonial expansion proceeding peacefully. Military forces at ready status but not engaged in active conflicts. The new galactic order was working. In a classroom on the rebuilt New Busan, young Vorthon student Krixna raised her hand to ask her human teacher a question.